welcome folks. Before us we have a question in mathematics paper 1 under functions. Now the good part about mathematics is that almost all the questions have the same pattern. So if you are able to understand this question, then you can use the principles to answer any other question. Now let's look at this question carefully. So the functions f and g are defined by f of x is equal to 3x minus 2 and g of x is equal to 4x plus 1. Find the first one. Whenever you see this -1, it simply means we want the inverse of the function of f. Now if you look at what it means by the inverse of a function, this is our original function. It's 3x minus 2. This is our original function. So we want to make a function in such a way that if we multiply that inverse by this original function, we are going to get the product of 1. So that's what it means by an inverse of a function. Maybe for easy understanding, if I have 2, the inverse of 2 is 1 over 2. So that if I multiply this, I get 1. If I have x, the inverse of x is 1 over x, so that I get 1. So that is what it means by the inverse. So if you multiply the inverse by the original, you get the product of 1. Now let's go back to our question. If you look at the sign of the original function that we have the negative sign. The inverse will form a positive sign. So that's number 1. Then the other thing that we are going to form from this one, since we have a straight equation here, we are going to form a fraction. So that is the first pattern for inverse. If you have a fraction, it will give you a straight equation. If you have a straight equation, it will give you a fraction. Now let's see what that simply means, right? So what is our first step? So the first step is replace f of x with y. So here we put y, then is equal to 3x minus 2. After that is done, now you need to make x subject of the formula, right? So we are going to put every term that does not contain x on one side. So if you look at y does not contain x, even -2 does not contain x. So anything that has x must be on one side. So the -2 will go to the left side. So we're going to move this expression to this side, so that we have y, the sign will change from negative to positive 2 is equal to 3x. Remember, our target is to make x the subject of formula. So we divide by 3, then here we divide by 3. So that if we cancel, we have x is equal to y plus 2 over 3. Then if you look at the division sign, don't write don't say over 3 or you say over 3. This 3 is the denominator for the two expressions, which is y and 2. So the division must cover everything on top. Now after the first step is done, we've made x the subject of formula. The last step is where there is x. Now you substitute with the expression for inverse. So you say f of inverse is equal to, now the y must be replaced with x plus 2 over 3. So that is our first answer. Now we move on to the other question. So the other question is where we are told to find the composite function. Now what does that mean? Composite simply means we get the two functions, this function and this, we combine to make one function. Or sometimes you may be given just one function, but you are told to composite, to combine it. So I've seen questions like that. Now let's look at our question. So if you look at our question, the outside function is g based on the first letter, then the inside function will be f. You write equal sign, then after equal sign, the first letter that you're supposed to write is the first letter here. So you put your g, then inside here we are going to put our inside function, which is f of x. So this is like a formula. Then after this is done, we are going to write the function for g. So the function for g is 4x plus 1. So this is what you're supposed to write. 4x plus 1. Then what are we going to do with the inside function? So the inside function is this function. Now, where are we supposed to put this function? So this function must now be substituted where there is x. So wherever you see x of the first function is where you are supposed to substitute with the inside function. So what this simply means is you write your 4, you open brackets, then the brackets represents the x, is where I'm going to put 3x minus 2 close plus this one here. Then we just have to bring in expansion under algebra. So the 4 will multiply with positive 3x, giving us 12x. Step number 1. Step number 2, the 4 will multiply with negative 2, giving us negative 8 plus 1. Then if you can see, these are like terms. So we can now combine those like terms. Now they have different signs. 8 has a negative sign, 1 has a positive. So we are going to subtract. 8 minus 1 is 7. Then as usual, we get the sign from a bigger number, which is our final answer is 12x minus 7. Now let's look at question C. So question C, we have g f of negative 2. Now for you to understand this, first we are going to put where there is 2, let's put x. Do we have this expression? Have we formed this? Yes, we have formed it. So we know that g combined with f of x is equal to this expression. So is what I'm going to write, minus 7. Which means that the value inside here simply means that x is equal to negative 2. So where there is x, you put negative 2. Minus 7. So we just have to do some math here. Negative 12 times 12 is negative 24 minus 7. We know that same size, we add 24 plus 7 will give us 31, but our answer must be negative since these two possesses the same sign. So this is how we can simplify functions. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.